Hello again, bakers. Today I'm going to be sharing a very quick and easy recipe for how to make a peanut butter and flaxseed cookie. These can be vegan, very easy. Let's get to it. In this bowl, I have 2 tablespoons of ground flax seeds. To that, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of water. I'm going to mix that around just until it's combined. And when flax is mixed with water, it becomes very sticky. And in vegan baking, that's often used as an egg replacer. So that's my flaxseed and my water mixed together. Now to that, I'm going to add a half a cup of all natural peanut butter. If you don't want to use peanut butter, you could also use almond butter or a different type of nut or seed butter. I would just recommend that you use an all-natural version that doesn't have any preservatives or chemicals. So that's that. Gonna give that a stir. Doesn't have to be too much. And I only have a few more ingredients, so you see how thick and sticky it gets. Now for something sweet, I have 2 tablespoons of fancy molasses. I'm just gonna scrape off my spoon here. And you could also use, maple syrup. You could use some kind of granulated sugar. Keep it at 2 tablespoons. These cookies are not meant to be overly sweet, or at least that's not my intention. So I'm just gonna mix that up. And as you can see, I'm not using any kind of fancy equipment, just a wooden spoon. So you could keep them plain if you like. I wanna jazz it up a bit, so I'm gonna put in a 1/4 cup of pumpkin seeds and also a 1/4 cup of dark chocolate chips. Both of these things are totally optional, but I like to have contrasting texture in my cookies sometimes. This is, I guess, what I would consider to be a healthier type of cookie since there isn't any refined sugar in there. Whatever sweetness there is pretty minimal. And it's gonna make a very thick, as you can see, dough. So now all I have to do is scoop that into cookies onto a baking sheet. So I'm gonna grab a baking sheet that I've lined with parchment paper. And very simply, I will scoop the cookies, leaving approximately 1.5 inches of space in between. These cookies don't spread out all that much, but the general rule whenever you're making a cookie is to leave space between them. So this recipe, it's on the smaller side. It should yield maybe about 8 cookies. And I'm using just a small cupcake scoop. If you don't have one of those, you could just as easily use 2 spoons. You could just use your hands, take a scoop, roll it into a ball. You don't really need any major equipment, nothing fancy, nothing specialized. Cookies are a homemade, home-style type dessert. So it's not meant to use anything too dramatic or too exotic. So that's the end of my cookie batter. And so like you see, I've made 9 cookies. I'm just gonna press them down slightly on my baking sheet. Now they're gonna go into a 350-degree oven for 8 to 10 minutes. Hope you enjoy. So I baked my cookies for a total of 9 minutes, rotating the pan halfway through the baking until they were golden brown and slightly crispy on the bottom. Allow the cookies to cool completely and then enjoy them right away or store in any kind of airtight container. I really hope you enjoyed this short video. Get this recipe and more on my blog at gatoemoliniac.com. Until next time, happy holidays and happy baking.